What's up, guys? GumbleFan15 here, aka the New Tie Builder, and he is finally done. That's right, the Master Grade Shin Musha Gundam, which I was commissioned to build by my buddy Arthur, I have finally completed. It has taken me almost 3 months to finish. Should have technically only taken 2, but it took some time off to, build 2 other kits and also play Dragon Ball FighterZ because that just came out. But got back into it and finished him up, and he looks amazing. At least to me, he looks amazing. I've used 2 different shades of red, a dark red and a light red. The light red is more of the accent color, and used it in a few places all throughout here, mostly on more the smaller pieces, just to give it a bit of a a different effect. I feel like if it's all in one shade of red, it just won't look that right. And I've also used 2 different shades of gold. I used a dark gold and a much lighter gold. Dark gold more for the bigger pieces, and the light gold again as an accent color to the smaller pieces. And gloss black on pretty much most of him. I separated that up with 2 different shades of gray. Actually, 3 different shades of gray. His biceps and thighs here, and this crotch piece are more on a dark. Actually, yeah. Here, and up here, more on a darker gray. There's a few pieces on the sides that you can't really tell that are in a lighter gray, and then all of his white tubing is in a much lighter gray. And I broke that up, at least on the tubing, with some gloss black here and up on the inside of him, here and there, more gloss black. And on his, let's see, his vents down here, right here, and his hands and his head, they're in a gunmetal. So all these colors put together, it looks fantastic. We wanted to go with a more traditional, samurai type look for him, and on paper, it didn't really sound right, but once you put it all together, it looks phenomenal. One thing I did on his thrusters up here, did a object source lighting type painting. Basically, I used 2 different shades of blue and a white to give it the effect that the thrusters are on, and when you look at it from different angles, it really does look like it's on. I used a dark blue, then a much lighter blue, and then right in the center, where I guess it would be the hottest point, is like a pure white that I put in there. And of course, around the outside, I used a chrome marker, which it came out okay. Could have been better. Let's see, his shading, for the most part, came out really well. It really looks the best around his legs, because there's so many different pieces broken up that you can really see the shading a lot better, especially around up here and around his feet and the sides. I guess because it's such small pieces, it just makes it pop out more. Now you can see the shading along the rest of his red all over the kit, but it's not as prominent as it is around the legs. I don't know why that happened, but at least it's still there. And I've shown Arthur some work in progress pics of what it all looks like, and he's happy with it, so that's all that matters. His shields were actually fairly difficult because it's all multiple pieces up here. Everything had to be broken down, resanded. He had decals up along here, and as you can tell on this, what do you call this? I guess this shield. When I was trying to get the decals off of that, I was using a knife to try and scrape everything off, and even after sanding, you can still see the knife cuts. However, on this shield, you don't see that, because I used a thinner to really break down all of the decals that were on there, and since I was painting it, it didn't matter that I left that shield pretty much white. So, looks a lot better there. This one, you know, it's not as noticeable, but, you know, I know it's there, so that bugs me. One other thing, when I was building his arms here, let me stop this, I noticed that there were pieces missing. There's a gray piece and a red piece that you can see over here that weren't on the kit. And they weren't on the box. I asked Arthur where they were at. He didn't know, so unfortunately it's just not going to look completed. And while that bugs me, he's okay with it, so I'm okay with it. Let's see. Turn this around here. His head. Give you a close-up of his head here. His head, when we were talking about it, I didn't understand why he wanted it in a gunmetal. You know, all the rest of him is all this bright, you know, glossy colors, but his head, for the most part, he wanted in this, you know, flat gunmetal color. And yet, it looks fine. It actually looks really, really well. It goes together with the rest of his, you know, his dark parts very well. Especially when you get the accents of his little pieces up here, and the red and gold's V-fin and 2 different shades of gold, and the little red behind the V-fin, which I had to hand paint that, which was fairly difficult. And his Vulcans up there I painted in a silver. And, you know, his little vents along the sides, hand painted in gold. Everything came together really, really well. And then when you get this red along the sides and the back here, I think he made the right decision. You know, came together really, really well. I'm very happy with the result. And what else? Oh, up along the back side of his shield here, on the inside of it where you can't see it, I did something that I'm probably gonna do on pretty much every commission kit now. I'm gonna find a spot where you can't see it, and I wrote my initials and the date or the year that I did the kit along the inside of it right here in a black. And you can't see it, but it's there. So I like it. And I decided not to do any panel lines on him, mainly because there's not a whole lot of panel lining to do, but also because of the shading and just because of the way this kit looks. I feel like the panel lines wouldn't really do it much good. You know, I mean, it's already got shading along the panel line, so you add that in there. I don't know. That's just me. I do love panel lines, don't get me wrong, but, you know. And, oh yeah, and I could not fix his legs. As I said in a work in progress video, he had glued the underside of the legs, the inside this little crotch pit down here. The legs are supposed to slide in and out, and he had glued them in this forward position, and I could not and did not feel comfortable enough to break it apart and fix it, so it's just stuck with his legs forward like this. So it's gonna limit the movement of his legs a bit, but, you know, for the diorama he has in mind for it, I think it'll be okay. And the reason I don't have his weapons in their holsters is because I don't know what he wants to do with them. I know, like I said, I know the idea of his diorama, but I don't know what he wants to do with the weapons. So if I put the weapons in his holsters, it's gonna scratch up the paint, and, you know, I don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna show you all the weapons now. Let's start off with his sword here. His sword, his sheath is in this nice gloss black, which I'm gonna have to run the freaking cloth over because it's covered in dust right now. Focus camera, there we go. Nice gloss black with the end right here in the light gold. Pull this off. There we go. There's his sword. Now, originally, I wasn't going to paint his chrome parts because I like the way they looked. But they had this, powder coat over him because he spray paints pretty much a lot of his stuff inside of his home. And I guess the powder got over some of his kits. And when I was trying to clean it up, and I actually was peeling up the chrome plating that was on it, so I ended up having to repaint it. So there's that. All this is pretty much hand painted. Right up here is I think I did this this is dark gold. And along the insides, I painted it in this nice glossy dark red, just to give it a little bit of different flavor. And his handle, painted the ribbons in a nice gloss black, and then on the inside of it, he wanted it in this light gray. So I think that turned out very, very well. And on the bottom down here is a light gold with the red. So came out pretty cool. And like I said, once this goes into his holster down here, it's not coming out. So that's that. Next thing that I really, really like is his gun. Did this in a nice brown with shades of gold, light gold along the sides, and then dark gold for accents, and then around the barrel down here, did it in a silver and a gold, just to give it a little bit of different look, and it came out really, really well. Along the top here, this is in a gunmetal. Along this here too, tubing is in silver. And one thing that I liked how it turned out on some of it, I brushed on the flat coat, and on some of it, it actually gave it a very grainy look, which I liked because, it's supposed to represent wood, and wood's very grainy, so looks pretty cool. I really like how the way this turned out. Next thing is big old staff here. Again, this is just in brown and gold. And this one you can pretty much tell. I did the brush on with the flat coat on this, and it really gave it the nice grainy look, a nice wood look, and it looks really, really cool. Oh. And when I was actually painting these two gold pieces here, they actually broke in half. So I ended up having to re-glue them and repaint them. So that took a little bit of extra time. And his last weapon is this thing right here. This I did in, gold, brown, gunmetal, chrome, and a silver. Came together really, really well. Really didn't know what to do for this piece. This was originally red, and I didn't know, what color would really look best. So I decided, what, I'm gonna do it in gold. Okay, so final thoughts on this. I love the way how it turned out, and I did make some mistakes, but I learned from them, and I know what to do better next time, especially on the shading. I figured out a better way on how to do it. So next kit I do with shading, I'll be fine. I have actually wanted to get this kit for quite a long time, but now that I actually broke it all the way down, painted it, and rebuilt it, I don't really have that urge to do it anymore. So, and I pretty much painted it, even though this was all his idea. I kind of had the same idea in mind for a kit that I wanted to do. And now that I've done it, just the urge isn't there anymore. And it is a pretty dated kit. I've seen how it is on the inside and how everything moves, and I just don't need it anymore. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna be ecstatic about it. I've sent him a few teaser shots of everything, and his reaction was what I was expecting. So I do recommend this kit. If you want to get it, by all means, go ahead and buy it. Just know Some pieces are gonna be weird. It's gonna have a few issues. Like the legs are gonna be the main one. How far they're turned apart right now is as far as they're gonna turn. It's one of those. It's just on a peg type system, so it just doesn't really look right. But all the rest of it, you put in the work, it's gonna look fantastic. So, alright guys, that about does it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. As always, Facebook and Instagram links are going to be in the description. And make sure you do follow me on the Facebook page, because I'm going to have the reaction video of me giving this to Arthur on the Facebook page, the new type builder. So make sure you check that out, because I'm sure it's going to be priceless. Alright, see you guys next time.